It's a funny thing, this life. We didn't come into it alone, and yet somehow we're supposed to figure our stuff out alone. And yeah, we can look things up and we can read books and we can this, that, or the other thing. But on the inside, in my experience, it feels like most of us are trying to sort stuff out alone. Even with therapists that I've worked with, it's a one-sided conversation. It's one-sided vulnerability. And there's an aloneness in that. I've come down to, or I've taken things, I've distilled what I think, I've distilled what I think is the whole personal self-help development space. I've distilled it down into a few things that I think make a really big difference, or can make a really big difference for people in terms of their health and their well-being. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, all of it. And the first is that it has to do with the 5-year-old inside of us. And the background on that is, imagine a 5-year-old who's playing with a friend, and the friend knocks them down in the gravel, and they get bloody and a little bit torn up in their knee or something, and they run to their parent or their caregiver, whoever is there who's supposed to look after them and take care of them. They're 5 after all. And that parent, that caregiver says, I told you not to play with them. I told you not to be running in the gravel. I told you not to do this. Or, I'm too busy, I don't have time. Go have somebody else take care of it. Or, take care of it yourself. Or, any kind of response that doesn't acknowledge the pain and the sadness and the hurt. Like, and give the 5-year-old all of the empathy and compassion without judgment, without a time limit, without anything. In that scenario, how long is that 5-year-old going to carry that brush off, that push away? They'll forget about the injury, but that not being cared for is going to last their entire life. Now imagine a situation where that 5-year-old comes to that same hurt, same everything, comes to the parent, the caregiver, whomever, and the caregiver just with lips sealed and heart open accepts and listens to the story and the tears and the sadness of that 5-year-old, and the 5-year-old can just emote the whole thing out. In no time flat, the 5-year-old is through it and playing with the friend that hurt them. And carries that experience like in their hearts of being seen and accepted for the rest of their life. Inside each of us, every ache and pain and injury, I liken to that 5-year-old that wasn't heard, that wasn't given the empathy and the compassion. And when we have hurts and pains, what do? What are we taught to do? We're taught to brush them off, make them go away, find some way to get rid of that discomfort and that symptom, just like we were treated when we were 5. Because let's face it, none of our parents had the capacity to do that all the time, or maybe even most of the time, or ever. As a parent, I didn't have the capacity to do that all the time. I haven't been really even wasn't aware of that until, more recently, in the last, say, 5 years maybe, right? That I've known this story and been utilizing this story in my life. So that's one. Another part that's really important is that we didn't get into this life by ourselves, right? We didn't grow up in isolation of other people. And we've been making agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz in the book The Four Agreements talks about how everything that happens in our lives, inside of our minds, we're making agreements around it. How we should be, how we should respond to somebody, how we shouldn't respond to somebody, what makes us good, what makes us bad. We're deciding all these things in our lives probably from the moment we're conscious inside our mother's womb. And these rules are running our lives. And they're all in relationship to other people, how we respond and live in relationship to other people. And because there's always other people involved, the idea that I can go and solve this problem, I can read all these books and I can sit and have this whatever, and I can solve this problem within myself in isolation of other people, is just a bunch of bull hockey. It is not. It doesn't seem real at all to me. In my life, it hasn't been real at all. The only way I have been able to resolve and go through things is some internal awareness, some study, some self-study, and then taking that in the presence of other people and behaving and doing things differently in the presence of other people. Other people must be involved in my transformation, in my growth, in my healing. Without question. Without question. So those two pieces, combined with the fact that every one of us, 8 billion people on this planet, are different by design and appropriately, because how boring would it be if we were all the same, or if many of us were the same? It would be just terrible. We wouldn't be unique. And that uniqueness is brilliant. But all that has brought me back, or brought my work that I do, Inner Guide Coaching, to a place where all of the books that I've read, all of the books, even when I talk to other people who've read so many books about self-healing, so many books about Buddhism and religion and this, that, and the other thing, looking for ways and answers on how to this, how to that, how to improve their lives. Even after reading all of the books, or many books, it still comes to, yeah, but how do I do that? How do I change? How do I change? How do I change? Yeah, I'm sitting and I'm meditating. Yeah, but how do I change? And for me, and for where I'm going with Inner Guide Coaching and my work with people, is we change by sitting down in front of another human being who is sitting down in front of us, in front of me, both of us with the intent to have an open heart toward each other, to not judge, and to allow those things which we find, we feel like we have to hide about ourselves, to open up about those things and find out that, well, we really don't have to hide ourselves. That we can find people who are accepting of us, and that we can do things differently than we had in the past, and we can change, and we can be accepted, and even more than accepted. We can be loved for all of our so-called mistakes and all of our differences and all of the things that make us unique and special, and that contrary to what society has us believing, our uniqueness and our differences are part of our beauty and part of our specialness and part of what makes us valuable beyond measure.